Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sustainable Inclusive Business. My name is Ebenezer Amadi. Over the past period, we have had a look at different sectors and the impact of COVID-19 to the sectors. Today, we delve deeper into sports, culture and arts. Herbert Mwachiro, who is the chair of the Sports, Culture and Arts Sector Board at Kenya Private Sector Alliance, joins us.
I think the sports sector has been one of the most vulnerable sectors, maybe not being highlighted in key media and other forums, but sports sector is actually one of the most vulnerable. We've seen a lot of international events. Let me take it from a global perspective. A lot of international events have been cancelled, especially like the Olympics, which was going to be the highlight of this year's key sporting events, and that affects Kenya because Kenya, is a very key competitor in the Olympics. We are an athletics giant, and as well as other team sports. We had rugby, both men and women going for that. We had volleyball also taking part, as well as other team sports, taekwondo, wrestling, boxing. So you can see the impact it is having on that. The cancellation of the Olympics from 2020 to 2021 is actually affecting our sportsmen, our federations, both in terms of just activities leading to the Olympic Games, as well as the individual team and sports men and women preparations. When I come back to what's happening locally, we can see that a lot of the competitions locally have been cancelled. The Kenya Premier League, the Kenya Cup Rugby Championship, the boxing, the volleyball, the netball, the swimming calendars, all local sporting events have actually come to a standstill. And this is actually quite tragic for these sportsmen because it brings a period of inactivity. On top of my head, Ebenezer, I think, let me say that the losses here are to both the sports organizations as well as to the organizations, the partners that provide sponsorship and money into the games. So I am looking about, off the top of my head, maybe between 200 to 500 million in terms of losses, but the figure could be more. It could actually be heading towards 1 billion shillings if we quantify everything in terms of sports earnings, influx from foreign earnings that some of our high-paying athletes bring in, what we would have gotten in terms of sponsorship for the international events coming in from outside as well as here local, and well, even what some of the companies that have heavily invested in sports locally do invest. There are companies that have sports teams, there are companies that have sports functions, there are organizations that sponsor various competitions in sports. So the loss is tremendous, both from an individual perspective as well as from a corporate and institutional perspective. Universities also invest in sports, so you can imagine all those losses that all these institutions are facing. The National Schools Drama, the National Schools Music Festival, the various county cultural festivals, the Lamu Cultural Festival, the Turkana Cultural Festival, the Samburu Cultural Festival, all those events basically have come to us. So basically we're looking at a season of cultural events around the country. The Kalasha Film Festival, among others. These are events that the Kenya Film Corporation and other stakeholders in that area look forward to annually to bring in the creatives into fore. So you can imagine all these people are no longer engaged. Musicians, DJs, singers, actors, actresses, the film sector here in this country has all come to a standstill. But also it provides an opportunity for digital engagement, online engagement. We've seen several artists starting to produce their songs or whatever their shows on YouTube. We can see people now moving to YouTube to start reaching out to the masses and to show that we are still able to connect, we're still able to perform. So I would encourage artists, especially they can play a key role in this fight against the coronavirus, fight against COVID-19. So for them, there's an opportunity, new opportunities. In all this, I would ask even the organizations, the corporate organizations that have put in money to support sportsmen and artists and all cultural organizations, not to scrap those budgets in the future, but to possibly just suspend until next year or whatever when we come back, I know this sector is one of the most vulnerable in terms of prioritization, because when you look at matters to do with sports, culture, and arts, big money starts chopping this sector very, very fast. And we hope that they will also consider the same way they chop is the same way they come back. I know the economic conditions will be different, but this sports industry is a sector that, if made sustainable, can be a win-win for all. The working from home concept is basically the mode that has been adopted. But remember, for some of these sportsmen, first and foremost, they just need to survive. First and foremost, they just need to be able to put food on their table for themselves and their families before they even think about engaging working from home. The more privileged, the more fortunate ones are who are financially able and stable are starting to adopt this. As I said, working through social media, certain coaches have started putting out programs for their athletes not to get inactive. Remember, for the individual sports, it could be much easier to basically train within the house or within your compound, or get a space where you can train alone. But for where you have team sports, I think those are the hardest hits. Even when this pandemic is over, for certain competitions to come back, it will take about 6 to 8 weeks for players to get back in shape before they can get into active competition again. So you just can't say that tomorrow football resumes, or tomorrow rugby resumes, or taekwondo resumes. No, it's all about getting back into match fitness. It's like having a pre-season all over again. So this working, we are seeing certain sportsmen, those who are better off, the Victor Wanyamas, the Michael Olungas, the Johanna Omolos, they have started helping out lesser fortunate people in society. You can see those who have are able to give back, and I think that's what we need. We've seen other sportsmen engaging with spreading the message of people to keep safe, stay home, sanitize, so that we can fight this COVID pandemic, because this is clearly not just an individual issue, but it's a whole societal issue, a community issue. Nobody asked for this thing to come, and it's hit us, we deal with it. I think let's encourage our sportsmen, our artists, our creatives to take up these challenges, these opportunities. Let us ask where possible, even the corporates can use these people as brand ambassadors to send the message that this corona war can be won by everything. You know, this war is not going to be won by soldiers. It's not going to be won by guns, but it's going to be won by people on the front line, whether it's doctors, other medical personnel, people who are encouraging others, people who are sensitizing the message, spreading the message. And I think there's an opportunity here for all in this sports culture and arts sector to be encouraged. All they need is the wherewithal to show them, to encourage them. Those who have the ability to pick up the rest, organizations that can actually guide and sensitize in this aspect can actually digitize, so that our artists, as you said, Ziada, the Utawezana challenge, I think we can set guidelines for the messaging. I just ask our sportsmen, our creatives, not to lose heart. Talk to each other, let's engage, let's set up forums. We certainly will be looking for ways and avenues to engage and see how we can overcome this pandemic. And as I said, work at home, be fit, think about wellness, think about keeping fit, and ensuring that your families and yourselves are safe in this period of the pandemic. God bless you all.